So that is more of the focus than just doing the content because it's elaborate, it's sweet.
Yeah.
See, there are some things that will go for Western cultures and the rest of them. There's some content that will go there, and there's some content that will never fly here. There are some shows you've seen on YouTube or everywhere, and you say, man, we should do this in Nigeria. It's not that we can't do it in Nigeria, but go just.
I know, I did tell you. Yo, what's up, guys? Your main man here, J Danny. Welcome to the Creative Joint. So, our today's guest is an amazing, super talented content creator. He is a media solutions expert, and we're bringing him to this show. This guy, when I met him, I think like 3 years ago, while I was, promoting my song on one of the media channels in Nigeria as a musician, I met this guy. He is super talented. He was, I think, the producer of that show, and we decided to bring him today on the show. And I'm talking of none other than my brother, my homeboy, Like Jacobs. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. I don't think I've ever been introduced this good.
I know.
I should employ you to say, please, the only thing you need to do for me is just introduce me.
They're introducing you.
Just introduce
You're
me.
welcome to the show, brother.
Thanks for having
A
me.
handshake is
It's
in
good to
place.
be here. It's
amazing to have you.
I love the setup you have here, by the way.
Yeah, thank you, bro. It's quite simple, straight to the point, and yeah, we're just trying to be like you, creative like you, a creative powerhouse.
I don't know what he's talking about.
All right, live. So we're actually going to be going into your personal space, and we're going to talk creativity, which is what you're known for. Of course, by your looks, everyone watching can already attest to the fact that, of course, this guy now creative engine.
Yeah.
Right. So we're going to be talking a lot of creativity, and we're going to go into your personal space. Okay. So do you mind running us back to when all this started? Because I know most people do a career, or they decided to choose a particular career path because maybe this is what they studied in school, right? For you, is that the case or something else happened?
No. Okay. Funny story.
Yeah.
I studied computer science in school.
Okay.
Nothing related to creative. So I think after I did computer science for a bit and I was done, there's this period where you just don't know what to do with yourself.
Yeah.
But I think when I was very, very young and very little, each time you ask me, what do you want to be in future? The only thing I always say is I want to be popular.
Yeah.
I remember one time I was in the living room with my dad and we were all just sitting down and gisting, and then his friend came around. I said, they call me Brilliant Boy, by the way. They say, Brilliant Boy, what do you want to be when you grow up? I said, I just want to be popular and just people to just see me and know me. And that was just it. It was just like into the air, whatever. So I went to school, I did medicine for a bit, dropped out. Then that's the story for another day. Then did a little bit of did computer science. And then when I was done, so a friend of mine then worked with one of the banks with the diamond logo. So he worked with the bank at the time, and he wanted me to say, come work with them. So we had prepared everything, but me, I know I wanted to just, I didn't know what I wanted to do. If I'm being sincere, I did an interview, I was supposed to join them, and then I met this other friend who said, Afana, Cool FM at the time were looking for interns and the rest of them. Would you be interested? I'm like, yeah, I'll be interested in, because I grew up listening to radio. We all had that radio phase where you wear your palito and everything. Yeah, I don't old small. So it was just all palitos and everything. And I would listen to radio and I was like, yeah, of course I'm interested. So I did an interview with Cool FM, and they didn't call me back. So I was like, maybe let me just go and work in the bank and see how that works. The day I was supposed to resume the bank on Monday, they called me, Cool FM called me on Friday to come. 0 pay, by the way. No pay, nothing in my head. I was like, damn, can I cost? I was like, yeah, I'm going to definitely do this. So I left the bank and I resumed, that's 2014 anyway, resumed Cool FM as an intern. I was just there, and that's how this story, like they say, that's how the story began.
Wow.
So, but then, funny story, when I got into Cool FM, I was working, I thought I was going to be on radio, just at least shadowing some people, because that's what I wanted to do. But I got into Cool FM and they just threw me to the account department. That's going to be doing invoices, proof checking invoices and the rest of them. And in my head, I'm like, but I'm in the system. At least I'll be here.
You have to get in from somewhere.
I'm in the system. At least I can still be shuffling in between. So I would do that. Then during the night time when the official work closes for the accounting, I'll just go to radio. Shout out to Ashim, by the way. I'll just sit there with him in the studio and just be listening. And then so one day he was like, come and talk now. You open the mic. I'm like, okay. Look at me. I'm talking on radio.
Yeah.
And then we did that. We did that for a bit. Then then I was like, okay. Then I met you. We started talking. You'll be like, come on, I just come inside studio once, come sit down and chill. So I'll just go.
See how they do.
Yeah, so I'll go sit there. So he does this early morning show that starts from, I think, 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. at the time. So before official work resumes, I'll just go 5 a.m., sit down with him till like 7:38, and then we'll just be there going back and forth. And it was kind of fun. I just enjoyed being there, even though I wasn't exactly paid for it because it was an unpaid intern job. So I did that for a bit, and that it helped me learn a lot of things because I was just watching people do, professionals who are
what they do,
seasoned. So I was watching them, and then I'll learn. I was just there. Then TV started. Then it was where TV started. And I met a couple people. I met Obi Martins, met Cartoon, the first winner of Big Brother Nigeria. And so we just talk. I'm a writer. Then that's the only thing I knew I could do. Like I could write about anything. I could write. I was very descriptive, so I could write anything. So I was writing content ideas for them, and I was like, okay, just this. So I was just tagging along. I was very tiny at the time, so I was very just in their pocket and in their space. I was just tagging along, like, okay, this is it. I was associate producer producing the breakfast show at the time. Then from there I became the producer of the show. It became huge. You came on the show.
I was exactly which we're going to talk about.
Yeah, you came on the show. So it became huge. We moved the show from, it was not even ranked, to being like number one at the time belt, and it was an amazing experience. So that spiraled into a whole lot of other things that were happening at the time. So that's the not so big story.
Exactly. Well, that's actually an interesting story because I remember, for one, the show I came on. When I met this guy, I was like, okay, the way, of course, I produce shows as well, but I was like, okay, this guy is in a space of his own. And do you want to talk to us about, in this case, let's talk about a show you're producing for TV. We have different trends. Of course, like, the industry is filled with trends, right? Everybody want to do them like this. Everybody want to do them like this. What makes you different, which
I think for me, like my guy Bernard will always say, guy, you write, don't worry yourself. So basically, I like to write. Let me say, I like to write. So each time I write, I picture how people will consume it. I have like a lot of, what's it called now? Drama going on in my head.
Ideas on what it should be like.
Yeah. So I'm writing from a viewer's perspective and also the producer's perspective, so that it helps me see, okay, as someone who's behind, would I want to watch this? Would I want to listen to this kind of thing? I remember then I would write stories there was this show we're producing then, it's called The Late Night Show with Obolo. So I'll write like funny sketches for the show, and it was kind of nice. So for me, what distinguishes me from most other producers is how I write. I write in a very cringe and genius way, if I do say so myself. So that even when you break it down and you're watching whatever it is on TV, you know that, okay, this person puts work into whatever it is. So it makes the presenter looks good. It makes everyone who's involved in the project look good. And then if you can piece these things together, for me, it's what makes the show interesting for me, because I already picture, okay, this is how the show should end. This is how it should go. This is what the segment's supposed to be about. This is what this. Even when my interns, then if I write like sketches and say, okay, you go produce this and this, bring it out like this, how I feel. They always feel like, no, why? But when they go do it and then they bring it back, like, okay, now I get the picture, because I try to picture it first. Once you can picture it, then it becomes like very easy, and that's what I do. That's what I think stands me out as a producer, and that.
Is there like a secret sauce you would call it? Because I know different producers, like we're mentioning. This is the Creative Joint, okay? The show where we talk creativity in details, which is where someone can actually watch and learn something, as a creative out there. So is there like a secret sauce for you? Because we have different creatives, as producers. For instance, I used to fall in that pit some time ago. Like if I'm producing maybe a content for maybe another brand or someone else, I always put myself in a space that, this content is going to be for me. Like, how do you deal with like having to write and produce a content for like different kind of persons? Because we have different people with different temperament, different interests, right? How do you make sure you can marry and balance all that?
So I think one of the first things you need to know is no one cares about what's going on in your head.
In your head.
No one cares. So you have to put yourself in it. So I'm going to describe 3 different content that I created over when I was on TV a lot.
Yeah.
So I did a breakfast show that was more political and more day-to-day activity about human and good stories and politics and the rest of them. That's one show. I did the late night show, which is more like a funny, relaxed, sketchy kind of show. I did a blog kind of show with Untold, which is more gisty and chatty and listening. So there are 3 different kinds of
show, huh? For different kinds of person.
For different kinds of person. So you have to know that, man, I'm talking politics in the morning, I'm doing newspaper reviews, doing all these things. You have to put yourself in that headspace of, I'm on the go, I'm moving, and I put my eyes on TV for 10 seconds. What's going to keep this person's attention at that point, so that they see something in the news that, there's a town hall going on here. So that needs to be done. So you need to put yourself and say, this is what this joint is about, and then you carefully break it down into tiny bits and pieces that people can actually relate with, because relatability is one of the things we should know. We are not Americans, and we can't do American content.
You can never, of course.
We are Nigerians, so
you can't beat them even if you try to.
Even if you can beat them, if the audience does not enjoy it, you are doing it for yourself. You're just ego tripping for that's what it is.
True.
So you have to do something that's enjoyable by the audience. You don't do something that a market woman, when Chukwudi opens his shop in Isolo and he turns on the TV and he's sitting down there, say, hey, I can relate.
You can relate with that.
So that is more of the focus than just doing the content because it's elaborate, it's sweet.
Yeah.
There are some things that will go for Western cultures and the rest of them. There's some content that will go there, and there's some content that will never fly here. There are some shows you've seen on YouTube or everywhere, and you say, man, we should do this in Nigeria. It's not like we can't do it in Nigeria, but I know, I
did tell you.
So that's the thing. So you have to put yourself and know, this is what the audience can get, and this is what I can force feed them into. Sometimes you can segue into some other things and say, it's not like I can't do this one, but I just chose to do this. So you have to put yourself in this place and say, this is me, this is what I'm trying to do. Break it down into tiny bits. Because one of the things people don't do is they just attack the show as a bulk, and most times it's never a bulk.
It's
in bits. Even when you do show, if you break down, you say, first 10 minutes we're talking this, and next 10 minutes, next 10 minutes, next 10 minutes. So you have to do that, and that helps you to be able to channel it and just bulk it into that, and then people enjoy it.
Amazing. So let's talk about breakthrough moment for you as a producer. Of course, you mentioned this, at the beginning of our discussion, you mentioned this interesting story, how you got into the industry, right? At what point did you finally decide that, they make money from this thing, like something that you decided, let's monetize this? At what moment?
Truthful, if I'm being truthful, I've never thought about monetizing it.
Okay.
It just comes from, I love doing this thing. And I'm from there. Everything else just starts. It just starts falling into place.
Okay.
So it started from, like I said, unpaid intern or just ghosting through.
Which is something more most of the creatives today should actually learn. Actually, sorry for cutting in, because I know most creatives are actually in this particular table that we're trying to shake. Like you find a young creative person and you're like, come work with me on the set. They're actually asking you,
what do I get?
Bros, waiting day, you know,
for me.
like it's crazy. So it's actually good that they should actually learn from.
Yeah. See, in as much as I'm not an advocate for free work, but the truth is this: if you really want to learn, you have to do some free work. That's standard. You have to do free work, because sometimes, like now, I tell myself I don't do work for passion again. Like my days of passion.
Yeah, because you've gotten to the point, of course, you've been able to pay your dues.
Exactly.
I must tell you, with this number of years and experience you've gathered.
Even with me saying I don't do work for passion again, there are still some things that I've done for free. Because in my head, I'm like, oh, I like the concept of whatever you're trying to do. Let me just live.
And it's also for you, like, not like it's work, right? Yeah, not like you're struggling to deliver it. It's something you can just do, right?
Exactly.
It comes naturally.
So we need to dead the idea of, no, I can't do. You have to pay me for this thing. Yeah, we get it. You're going to get paid sooner or later. The more you do it, the better you get at it. Yeah. And if you don't get to do it, you're still not, I want to be paid first. Yeah. You don't need to do anything. Yeah.
I tell you.
You're not doing anything. So from being an unpaid intern to get into the process, and then in my head I was just the next work. Then there's money. The next work, and then there's money. And the next work, and then there's money. Like someone I know say the reward for good work is more work.
Is more work. Yeah?
So it became like that, and then it started moving, and then you're producing a show. Then they trust you enough to produce like an entire flagship show for a station that's that big. So it was a big deal. So
yeah,
and then they tend to compensate you and go take this. Even though compensation is never enough.
It's never enough, but
it's never enough.
You're building something.
You've been able to build it, and I think when I got a call from the producing job that I do now with Off Air, when I got the call, it was from someone who I never really thought would even recommend me. Shout out to Temi B, by the way. She was the one who said, she texted me and said, oh, I gave your number to Baby, they need a producer. We've never spoken, this is fact, we've never spoken about me needing a producing job.
And it's based on experience you had.
Yes. She's probably seen, oh, this guy can do, this guy has done this and this, and she was able to recommend me. Nothing past good name. Just keep the grind going.
I'm telling you,
it works.
All right, so that's interesting to learn, because this is a show where we actually get to let people learn, not just get entertaining as much as it's an entertainment show. People should learn from experiences that people that have gone ahead of them are able to share on the show. So let's talk about creative blocks, because every creative, whether you like it or yes, all right, or not, you will get to that point where it'll be like now blank sheet of paper. Have you experienced such, and how do you deal with that?
I'm going to say something very controversial right now.
Okay.
I do not believe in creative blocks. I don't think there's creative blocks.
Okay, then tell us.
I just think it's improper formation of whatever idea you want to bring out. I don't think, personally, I might be wrong. I don't think there's. So the truth is this: when you are creating, most people just want to. Oh, I have this idea. Let me just jump on it. Let me just start writing it down. I have this sketch. Let me just start putting it up. I don't think that's how it works. Maybe personally, again, this is based off personal experience.
Live. Listen, you are to write a show. All right. I call you right now, live. I want us to produce a show for DSTV, right? Or sorry for even giving such any media outlet out there. Let's create a show, and I give you like a highlight, a rundown of what this should look like. You're telling me from the word go, after our discussion, you can put pen on paper at every occasion. Come on now, for you. No, be Superman.
No, be Superman. But the thing is this, because most people want to jump into, because you have an idea and you want to jump into just creating it almost
immediately. Yeah.
That's why people say, I have a block. I can't seem to do this thing. But if you digest what the process is, what it's going to entail and everything,
and give it time,
in your head, you are breaking it down into tiny, like I said, tiny little bits and pieces. Before you put them, by the time you piece them together, you are done with the entire whole. But most people want to just go into the entire whole and do everything.
Yeah.
You go reach one point, your head will be like, okay, where do I go from here now?
Exactly. That's a creative block, man.
Yeah, that's
what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's what people call the creative block.
Yeah.
But in my head, if you say, oh, let's create a show for this channel, whatever, I'm like, okay, cool, we can definitely do it. So who's going to watch the show? What are we going to do for the show? So if you start asking those tiny questions, before you know, you're piecing. By the time you piece everything together, you have like a whole. But if you just go, okay, let's create a show. Which kind of show do we do? Who will watch it? Before you know, you're putting yourself into that panic mode. And when you get into that panic mode, you see yourself having blank papers and the rest of them. This time I want to write, people say I write like a lazy person, which is fact. I don't.
It's your style.
I don't argue with you. But the truth is this: I will come back with something very, very crazy, dope. We use crazy.
Of course, it is crazy dope now, yeah.
So crazy and dope, because I'm not going to jump into it because you are very, very enthusiastic about it.
You want it now.
I'll go into the toilet and I'm marinating about it. I'm playing, I'm marinating about it.
Yeah.
So by the time when I put pen to paper and I'm trying to say, okay, this is it.
Yeah.
It comes fuller and better than, man.
I think that's a great approach,
Yeah, because the truth is this, everybody's going to have a block if you jump into it.
Definitely.
If you jump into it, you're going to have a block.
Yeah.
But if you take your time to analyze, process, and before you know, my notepad, if you see my notepad on my phone, I have, I think, over 6,000 notes on my notepad. Sometimes it's just a sentence. Sometimes
that tells that there's something that's always coming.
Some of them is just a sentence. Some of them is just a word. Sometimes it's just, by the time I'm just going, I'm like, okay, this is going to look good. Sometimes it takes like a week before you know, you put them together. It's like, okay, you have something. But if you want to jump at it, that's where so that's why the whole concept of block,
it's not real for you.
Yeah, I just
real.
like you didn't have the full grasp of whatever you want to write. That's why you're stumbling somewhere.
Yeah. I think the takeoff here for me from what you've discussed is actually a very good approach, because anything worth doing well, for me, I think doesn't just come overnight.
Of course.
Like, of course, which I know I have those kind of projects as well. Let's say, for instance, maybe if I'm writing a song, I'm to like write a song for someone and the person needs a song. There are like lyrics I will have to change 2 weeks after now. I've written them before, right? But I found a better way of lining those lyrics. I found something better. So at that point, you won't really call it creative blocks, right? It's just that you didn't have the right
for the
kind of lyrics that you're looking for at that moment. So incredible, all right? All right, guys. So we're still here with an amazing and super talented content creator. He's not just a content creator. He's a producer and an amazing, talented person in the studio today. He goes by the name Life Jacobs in the building. All right. So if you're yet to subscribe to this channel, kindly do so. Leave us a subscription, leave us a like, comment, and something. Come on, guys, it will mean a lot to us, because we're bringing so much juicy content like this, and we have fresh men like this. My brother is in the building. All right, Life. So we're gonna play a quick game, all right? Before we continue talking about deep creativity, let's quickly play a game, all right? And loosen things up a bit, okay? It's still about you, though.
Okay.
So it's very simple. In 60 seconds, you're gonna attempt to answer as many questions as possible. I think we have 14 questions.
Okay.
So in 60 seconds, attempt to answer as many questions as possible. Now here is a simple rule. So if there's any question you can't find an immediate answer to, you can say pass.
Okay.
That's the only time we are going to move to the next question. Okay? Maybe you are not very comfortable with the question. You can say pass, but you should, Okay. All right. Timekeeper, you ready? All right, Live, you ready? Let's go now. And your time starts now. What's your secret weapon for overcoming creative blocks?
Play.
Okay. If you could have any superpower to enhance your creative process, what would it be?
Pass.
In 3 words, describe your content creation style.
Risky, crazy, and fun.
Okay. If you could collaborate with any historical figure, dead or alive, who would it be?
Pass.
Morning brainstorm or late night inspiration? What's your go-to?
Morning brainstorm.
Morning, amazing. Okay, describe your creative process in 3 words.
Risky, pass.
What's your guilty pleasure media content that you can't resist?
Late night shows.
Okay, describe your work environment. Chaotic, creative, or organized genius?
Chaotic.
If you could time travel, would it be the past or the future?
The future.
Coffee, tea, or energy drink? What's your power? What's your Creative session juice.
Coffee.
Coffee, definitely. All right. What's the weirdest thing or place you've ever drawn inspiration from for a project?
Always.
Toilet, nice. In your estimation, who is the current biggest musician in Nigeria? Afrobeat musician, that is.
Wizkid.
Okay. Choose between the two: $10 million or a chance to collaborate with your biggest content producer icon.
$10 million, please.
Nice. I'm just at the nick of time.
$10 million, please. Anytime, anything.
We'll go use that one. Go find
now.
collab who we find. Oh, just at the nick of time. I think we had like one more question left, but it's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll be able to see how many questions you've been able to answer there. All right. So what's your take, like, generally about the future of content creators in Nigeria, generally?
I think it's not enough, anyways. Yeah, I still think.
Oh, you think we don't have enough? Okay.
I don't think.
Okay, tell us why.
Because the truth is this: see, content is always going to be needed. People need to be fed. It's like you have to see something. It's the human nature. Like, you open your phone every day, you want to see something that makes you either laugh, something to learn about, something. So I think the problem and where we get dragged into is because people think content creation is just for laughs or just for this. I'm on TikTok. I love TikTok a lot.
Yeah.
I love TikTok a lot because the truth is this. On TikTok, you see someone who's doing a tutorial on so this. That's content creation.
Of course.
People think it's just.
It has to be like TV standard or something.
It has to be funny. It has to be a podcast. It has to be. No, it doesn't have to be that. Those are just aspects of it. You see, like, some people will give you tutorials on how to do this, how to do that. So those are different aspects of content creation. And I think we do not have enough. There are some areas that some people have not even scratched. Look at you now talking about creative and how their creation process was, how they go into the industry and the rest of them.
Yeah.
That is an aspect of it. But most people think you have to be the honest bunch and and talk about a whole lot of breast and yash, or you have to be this and do that.
Yeah.
It's way beyond just that. So I think it's not even enough yet.
We can't exhaust.
We can't exhaust it.
Yeah.
If you have an idea that comes to your head and says, okay, this is what I want to create, I think you should just set your camera. But I think one of the problem people face is they want to have a setup like this.
Yeah, it has to be expensive.
They want to,
flashy.
you want to, and I think that's the biggest problem most creators have. I had that problem too.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be gengel, you know that.
Of course, you want to hit the ground running from day one, huh?
That gengel effect would make most people not create. And big shout out to the pandemic. This might be controversial.
Changed a lot, of course, but it's true.
Because before then, half of the content people consume were from Instagram. And to be on Instagram, you have to be extra funny or one of the big boys who are already doing things.
Yeah.
Or you have to be extra funny, you have to be posh, you have to be clean and this thing. But then the pandemic happened and somebody in one remote village there can set camera
with a phone. That's not even a very good camera, you know.
and then people will consume and watch. So it became. Then TikTok came almost at the same time. Synergy was a marriage made in heaven, and before you know, any Tom, Dick, and Harriet can just create whatever they want to create, and they don't need the whole glamour of going into a studio.
Exactly. People even create on the street.
Yes, like
some don't even wear any form of costume or anything. Just create. So now you can just open your phone and you're a content creator. There's really no limit to this thing.
There's none.
You know, but for me, I think I have problem with that's me though. You know.
Oh, of course.
You know, it might not be for you. Like with the quality of this kind of content, which is like where I have problem with, it makes content creation just like it's a room for all. Of course, there's room for all, but I also believe there should be some level of quality, right? When you want to put out stuff. So what's your take regarding that? Because I know, just like most of this content that we're talking about, look, I can't consume it. Just like you're saying, you see, when on Instagram or TikTok, like you're mentioning, you keep scroll until maybe you get to a point that content that you can relate with.
So I like quality content too. Like I'm probably on your side a little bit. But this is what I think personally.
Okay.
I think the truth is this: do whatever rubbish you want to do. Rubbish in quotes, please. Let me put that in quotes.
But now rubbish they sell now.
Yeah, but the more you start having audience, I think refining comes into place.
Okay.
Yeah, because the truth is this: if you have an audience now, the job is on you now to refine whatever content you are doing. And as you refine it, your audience now appreciates you more because they know that okay, you are thinking about us. You're not just giving us some wishy-washy whatever. So you can start however you want to start, but the more you start, when you start building an audience or a fan base, refine whatever you are doing, and then that's where the quality gets.
Now we're talking about gets
better, and then you now maybe making money. You can afford to employ a team that's going to help you with maybe editing. They put better effects, better this thing. So you just need to get better with it. That's what I think. Yeah. So do your rubbish, but get better.
Okay. I think that's a beautiful perspective. I didn't see it because I'm about quality from day one. Like I'm just me. So, but I think this is a good point because if you also want to see it from the real point of starting something, once you're starting, you can't always get it right. Like I know people that want to wait until they have certain kind of camera before they can start and the rest. That doesn't always work.
It doesn't always work.
You will not start.
I remember Sabinus was in an interview one time, a long time ago, and he was saying, man, people think this is, if he shows you, he said, if I show you my first skit, what I do.
I know.
And that's it. And he's not the only one. Most of them made skits, and it wasn't popular, but and it wasn't as great. Too. So, but then the moment they start getting the audience and this thing is getting bigger, it gets better.
Of course.
That's what it should be. Even as individual, even your personal life self.
And life's supposed to be like that.
You're supposed to
upward movement.
Get better with it.
True. Amazing. I buy into that. Let's talk about challenges to you personally, because we know the industry, just like in life generally. Of course, life, if you wake up one day, just everything they fall in line as you want them. Just know, just be watching. So we know like the industry is filled with array of challenges that you must have been faced with as a creative. You know. So what would you say are those challenges that have actually shaped you to do better and do what you're doing currently?
It's a lot of challenges. This life is full of
Let's hear it now, because people like content creators actually, maybe someone starting out can actually think, oh, it's just bed of roses as you start.
It's not. There's no even bed safe. you will sleep standing.
Not even chair.
No chair there. You won't sit. So I think one of the biggest challenges. First, let me start with the shooting challenges. I think one of my biggest pet peeve ever is the fact that whenever you put a camera outside in the sun, just go downstairs, put the camera somewhere, and just go and stand in a corner. People say, "Close what's going on there?"
Especially where we are.
Yeah, you see, people come out. It's not come out. I want to collect
my own share.
50 kilo. I'm like, how? Like what? What have you done? I want to. So that is a silly challenge. I think there should be stricter laws and rules that I don't know how that can be implemented or how that can be made. That should make creative be able to film without having to think about and worry about those form of harassment. That's being said. Then the second budget is basically budget problem. Because the truth is this, in as much as you want to create, people will say, you guys are not creating enough. I'm like, the money, most of these creatives are
definitely
from their pockets. There's no sponsor, nothing. So there's that problem of, man, where I go see the next cash. I don't even know if the content go blow.
I'm telling you.
You don't know if the content go blow.
You're going to use so much bar to want to create the content.
First, if you don't have a camera, you have to rent a camera. And rent camera per day, you know what that costs. You have to rent sound because you want people to hear you loud and clear.
Of course.
But you say, you're using one small techno phone and the picture will be like, say, slack for face. So you want to get, I want to use an iPhone 13. You know what an iPhone 13 costs now. So there's a budget problem. It's a whole lot.
let's talk about your show, The Yans. I watched that. That's such a beautiful show because I personally say we'll go talk about them. Talk to us briefly about what the show is about and, of course, where people can go take a look. And
so shout out to Sam C, my guy.
Yeah.
So The Yans is pop culture, sex, money, and these things, like a regular what's called podcast. Where, but then what we do is have deeper conversations about certain things, like
different topics.
Yeah, different topics. There was a conversation about real estate. We talked in depth into real estate, if we are selling, because now we see people say bomb and they're asking, because the intro was, are we selling bomb or selling real estate? So let's know.
There's nothing real about that.
Let's know which of the estates we are selling. So that kind of thing, and we just want to have deep dive conversation into some of the things that people just want to brush aside.
Yeah.
If we're talking sex, let's talk sex. Let's talk it in the actual fact of it. Why not everybody can last 10 minutes. Not everybody can last. Some people not just tam.
Those are all issues of life, of course.
Those are real life conversations that need to be had. So that's what we discuss on The Yans, and we're very playful about it, and just on a very mid tempo. And we have some celebrity guests come join us to talk about it. So you can catch it on YouTube. Just type The Yans, and it's on Spritz TV, and it's just there. Amazing. We have like 4 of us who we host at different times. So I host most of the episodes anyway. But then there's Petite, she hosts, there's Fadi hosted an episode, and then there's Cypher who also hosts sometimes. So we just shove. So it doesn't look like it's just one person.
Like it's one person.
So we just mix it up.
Beautiful concept, and of course, creative content these days get plenty branches.
It get plenty branches.
It shouldn't just come out from like this. You say, oh, this is how it's going to be.
Yes,
this week. Next week, you see it's coming out from this part of the angle.
So that's how it is.
Okay, so are there any other project that you have currently coming that's not yet released? You want to talk to us briefly, quickly, because we're almost at the end of the show, though.
So, like I've been talking a lot about film recently, so that's where I am right now. Right now, I'm a filmmaker.
Okay, interesting.
So I've been making a lot of films recently. There are a few coming out. So we're in collaboration with this friend of mine. He has a YouTube channel. It's called Samili Namdi TV. Okay. He makes films and then puts them up. So we've been doing like a collab work together. Okay. I act in some of this film.
I saw one of that. I was my guy don't act mad though.
I act in some of these films, but I write most of them, and I just we are branching. Like like I said, the more you do, you refine better, and then you make it better. So we are releasing a few. There's one coming up. What's the title again? I can't remember the title off the top of my head. Love in Plain Sight. It's coming in the next few weeks on Samili Namdi TV. So it's the film. We have like a couple we've made. Social Experiment is also coming up. That's a 13 episode show. We call it series. So it's a 13 episode series, and it's going to be posted weekly. And those are some of the projects in the works. There's a couple. So I've been making loads of film, and then we are back again with off air sometime in October. Okay. We'll be back on DSTV, Africa Magic. We'll be doing that, and then we'll be back. So it's just plenty of work.
Interesting. Oh well, you know the blue pass as we think before, not like we say in Nigeria. And we're really happy, and we're happy for you with what you're doing already. We can only hear on the show wish you nothing but the very best. All right.
Thank you, and thank you for having me. I must say this is amazing. Thank you. This is good work.
You're welcome, man.
Creatives need to bunch together.
Exactly,
because, man,
definitely. Oh my why?
They make rice full pot.
Are you kidding me? Not be one seed now. I'm glad, of course, that you're seeing it that way, which of course is something that we need to wake up to that realization.
Yeah.
All right, I think it's a good place for us to leave it. Thank you so much, Live Jacobs, for coming on the show. All right?
Thank you guys for having me.
We're gonna bring you back, man. All right, listen, there's a lot that we're actually planning, so there's something we're gonna do again on the show, and we're certain when it's time we're gonna let you know about.
I'll be here.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys. So your main man here, Jay Danny, it's been amazing talking with Live Jacob. He is a media solutions expert. This guy do plenty of things, like you heard on the show. So for you to know more about him, what he does, and how he does his thing, kindly check out his Instagram handles. You're going to see it on the screen there, and follow him. Just know what this guy is about if you haven't seen his content yet. And also, if you're yet to subscribe to our channel, kindly do so. Subscribe to this channel so whenever we share content, you'll be the first to know. And come on, guys. It's been amazing presenting. Jay Danny here, signing out. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.